Good morning. Welcome to what is day 3 at the RC track. And I'm not sure why I put myself through this, but I'm car camping again through the whole thing. So I've got my breakfast and stuff set up here, but I'm gonna work on that in a minute. Anyway, this is qualifications day, and we did 2 rounds of seeding, and I'm really happy with how seeding worked out, because since there was a weather delay, we did 2 rounds of seeding, and those seeding rounds ended up being your fixed qual position out of your 3 qualifiers. So I am in top 10 out of 2 of my 3 classes. Placed 8th in 35 plus e-buggy, I placed 9th in 4-wheel drive buggy, and I placed 27th in e-buggy. Just because e-buggy is a lot more competition, all the pros run that as well, and the young kids too, the really fast teenagers and stuff run that. Anyway, so we did 1 qual last night. Yesterday, Friday, we did 2 seeding rounds and 1 qualifier round. And my quals did okay, but nothing spectacular. And today we will do 2 qual rounds and then probably 1 of the 35 plus mains. So I'm just getting the day set up. We're just getting started here. It's like 7 a.m. and gonna get out, ready to get on that track for 8. I do need to start worrying about tires though, because I'm still on these soft detox and they're pretty much bald now. This one is the worst. So I'm likely gonna swap over to some Proline slide locks or some Aqua detox, because these are, well, that's really getting down bald now. But so yeah, tire wear. But I think I can get through 1 more qual on these. I might do a rotation where I put the fronts on the rear. I might loop them 1 more time. But setup wise, I've kept this the same. I stayed on the yellow low frequency rear, red low frequency front. I haven't changed any diffs. I haven't changed any oils. It handled the temp changes pretty well, from as hot as it was yesterday to then the very last qual at night at 10 p.m. where it was cooler. It did feel better in the cold, but it was perfectly drivable in the hot. So I say cold. It was still hot at 10 p.m., but not as hot as midday. And the EB410, same thing. It's mostly just tire wear. These were fairly new ellipses at the start, and now they're worn right down. The rears are holding up all right, but these fronts are getting pretty bald here in the center. Anyway, again, no setup changes to the EB410. I'm just driving it, and it feels good out there. So I think it's mostly going to be a tire game once my rubber wears down enough, figuring out what I want to run for tires. All right, it's morning of day 3 at the track. About to go out with the 8 scale and then a 4-wheel drive right after, but everyone's just getting set up.
Eric, Philippe, Stéphane, Viard, Alex Blais, Philippe Bédard, Yannick Schein, Vincent Guibault, Jonathan Adam, Dave Hamelin, Michel Robert.
Alright, quals are done, and I haven't been a very good vlogger at this event just because it's been so hot, and I've been more concerned about trying to do well. And then I did have a couple of repairs to make. For the second qualifier, in the e-buggy, the rear shock had exploded out its emulsion screw on one of the rears. And so I noticed that it had been stripped, and I was trying to take it easy, but it actually shot it out and then sprayed oil all over the back of the buggy. Just finished qualifier 3 with the e-buggy, and check out how disgusting the rear end is. And I noticed my wing was awfully dirty, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Yep, the emulsion screw came right out. I think this aluminum shock cap is stripped out, probably because I was trying to cheat and put it in on an angle once, and I think I cross-threaded it, and then now it's popped out and sprayed oil all over the back of the car. Gotta fix that before I run this twice in qual 3. I just finished my 35 plus qual 3. I gotta fix it before open e-buggy, and maybe change the cap, but I do have the screws. So I had to fix that. I ended up putting in a shock cap from my old buggy. I brought it as a spare, the EB48.3. So this one I've got on a bladder cap. This one's emulsion. I also, because it's so hot, I went up in shock oil. So I put a 45 weight in the rear, which is probably around like a 650 to 700 CST, and then I'm still on 600 CST in the front. I kept the springs at the low frequency. Alright, all this to say, it hasn't been very conducive for filming at this event just because it's so noisy, right? There's nitros and generators and everything's all around, and if nitros are out on track too, it's very hard to hear me. I imagine that the audio is not very good for this either, but We're about to go into the mains. This is day 3 at the track. The night of the evening, it's 5 o'clock in the evening of day 3. We're about to have our pork supper. Thank you for Bego for putting that on. All right, we got dinner. Let's go eat it before we race 35 plus e-buggy. And then we'll start 35 plus mains tonight. I should be in the B for the 35 plus mains, 14th overall. And then after 3 qualifiers on the 4-wheel drive on the EB4 10.2, I'm in 8th overall. And then in e-buggy, I think I'm in 24th overall, but we're gonna find out later when the mains are up. Tire situation. I was playing around with tires a bunch. I probably stayed on soft compound for way too long in this type of heat, because this is 100+ degree heat for you Americans. 36 Celsius here plus humidity, so it's in the 40s. For my very last run on e-buggy, I put on the J Concepts Aqua compound, which is their soft long wear, and that stuff is excellent. I'm very impressed with how well this holds up, and it was able to like skate around on track a little bit, so I was very happy with that. On the 4-wheel drive, I kept it on pretty much bald clay compound tires, so these were fairly new ellipses that are worn down, and they still held up great, and the positrons on the rear held up very well too. So we're gonna run mains in this tomorrow, but on Saturday night we'll be doing the old man spec, which is a 35 plus mains, so that'll be up next. Huge thanks to Genzace for supporting Netcruzer, running their 4S red line hard case all weekend. It's been excellent. I've got more of them. I'm gonna need 2, because I am at a chance of doing a bump up. So if you run a bump, if you bump and then marshal and have to run again, you usually don't have enough time to charge up another battery. So it's good to have an extra battery on hand, and I'm gonna have that going for both classes, just in the case of bump ups. So I'll have enough power charged up, ready to go. On the actual e-buggy, after 2 seating rounds and 3 qualifiers, I didn't break any parts. Tekno tough. But a couple things did loosen off. So this camber link on the inside here, this loosened off, and I noticed that I was getting a lot of play. I noticed this wheel was like moving back and forth, and I was like, what's going on with that? And it was just that this, which has a nut on the back, and then if that loosens off enough, it can move between the holes. It has enough room where it can move up and down and changes your front roll center. So yeah. Anyway, this is also why it's hard to vlog here. So no parts broken on this, and then also very similar things on this. The only thing that loosened off was the same thing actually, was this link here. So I just tightened up the stuff. It was just things got a little bit loose. No broken parts. This is not just for style, this is a hard pit board. And what you want this for is setting stuff like ride height. So you take your car after you make some suspension adjustments, you just want to drop it, kind of check for ride height and stuff. Oh good, the compressor turned off. You're looking for fairly level A-arms off of a drop like that, or compression. Just looking for a fairly level front and rear. And then you can check for ride height and camber and stuff on a hard surface. That's why you want a pit board. You certainly don't have to have one this elaborate, but anything that's just a hard surface will do, because the tables are not that great. And then if you run something like a yoga mat to make sure your screws and stuff don't run away, it's not conducive for setting that stuff. The track has held up very well. I know they were concerned about that, and props to them for not letting anyone run on it on what was that? Wednesday and Thursday, no one was allowed to run on it at all. The first time anyone ever got to drive on this was on Friday, when everyone started seating at the same level. And that was pretty cool, because that allowed me to get a better seating round, because I was on the same playing field as everyone else. So the seating was your best 3 laps consecutive. The team associated pit setup is pretty cool now, very elaborate with their branded easy ups and banners and the big rig RV, but they've got, look at how far deep it goes, all the pits. Nice setup. The Team Bego pop-up hobby shop setup, where you can get fuels and parts and all kinds of things you need. Tires, certainly lots of tires. If you need tires, they've got them set up for you. Let's do this thing. 35 e-buggy B main. We're gonna do this. I'm in 7th. I gotta beat all these guys to get the bump to the A. We'll see if we can do it. Okay, here we go. First practice lap before 35 plus B.
The more marshals, the better. Everyone should be marshaling.
Oh, you're gonna stand. There'll be 16 of us in this race, so the stand is a little tight.
fix the pipe. Yeah, good. Good. Fix the pipe. That was my fault, though. Wreck the track before we start. Good job. Full throttle up here. Turn in tight.
Guys, put the best, please. Mettez best, s'il vous plaît. Okay, no more laps.
No more laps.
Here's the auto ready by. Yep, the auto is in the 2 now. John Kennedy is in the 3, Marlene is in the 4. The Jacob got by Marlene as well. He's just ahead of her going for double triple. I think Dean is still on leading. I hope. Not sure. Can't keep my eye out here. Here is in front of you. Alright, can we look at an assist to get the guy on the lip? Yep, our leader is trying to put by the right now. We have 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes to go. Cycle up with us. The other is in by the right now. He is 5.3 seconds back from our leader. John Kennedy is down in the 3rd. Marlene is still in the 4th.
Get the bump to the A. Loving it. Holy moly, guys, I made the bump to the A. We're going to go out right now for A1 with the 35 plus e-buggy. Let's do this thing. Okay, 35 plus A1 main.
Okay, less than 5. 1 to sign. Still at 10:92. Roll. Double 12. Roll. Okay, supposed to be. Alright, I'm pressing start. Right, la course commence, vous avez 8 minutes. The race is starting, you have 8 minutes. Nice, Marshall. Good job, Marshall. That was awesome. Sean B, we're in 7. The auto, we're in 8. That's 8, left. John Kennedy 10. Our big one, je m'en coupe, le 26. Oh, Steve tombé là-bas, il était là. He was at the 5, 6 against 6. Give a nice set. You've already been passed, let's see some nice passes, guys. Take your time passing each other. Because line goes by with 35-0. This fastest is 34-7. McCoy's still in the 2. Boomer's up in the 3. Phil Matthews in the 4. Give a man in the 5. Bobby McKean on the 6. Keeps again a set. Now thank you here. The audio.
That was a spectacular wreck. Alright, got a big gash there, and we only have front wheel drive, or 3-wheel drive, so I snapped an axle, or, well, there's a whole, oh, the rear drive shaft popped out. Hopefully that's all it is. If it just popped out, if it didn't break anything, then I might be able to quickly just fix that for the next run. So that's not too bad, but I got to take a look on the inside and see how bad it was. For how bad that wreck was, full high speed, bam! Well, anyway, yeah, crazy. Just pop the drive shaft back in and we're back in business. Let's get out there and do this thing. A2 main. This is the 30-minute Nitro A main just finishing, and then I'm up in A2 35 plus e-buggy. This will be the last race of the night, and I'm in it. I'm pretty excited about that, so let's do this thing. That was a sweet pass. Doing well. I don't know how well, but I'm doing well.
With the club, right and red. It's coming for the first double triple. Oh, there's also Marcelino. Venera, como si no me pasara. Venera, second pass. Venera. Outra bazona, braço que eu não vou ter. Eu tô te prendendo a ponto. Vai cá, agora eu vou enfrentar o Rock. Outro clear. Tudo, não tem nada. Vai no fio. Atrás, ele vai para mim. Na constituição, subindo também, como
I don't know. I think you got me there at the end, right? You got me, yeah. Both you two did. Whoa, I think I'm in top 5, I'm not sure. But I was in second for a lot of that race. That was A Main 2, last race of the day. Woo!